It's been about a decade since Mac Miller's then lost album Balloonerism was recorded and created, with it being made around the same time as projects like Watching Movies with the Sound Off and Faces, but ultimately getting shelved and unprioritized to other albums. And now in 2025, we see Balloonerism become the second posthumous Mac album after Circles, with an official streaming services release and vinyl pressings. So what makes this album so great, and what took so long for it to get an official release? Well, let's start off with what makes it great. Balloonerism has a very dark and heavy feel to it, with lots of mentions about addiction and mental health struggles, similar to Faces, but in this case it felt more amplified. It's very experimental and vulnerable, to the point where it feels as if you're entering and getting lost in his mind. The album does have its light-hearted moments, like the track $5 Pony Rides, but is for the most part a very raw and emotional project. Overall, it's quite interesting yet eerie to listen to, as death is quite a prominent subject matter across its runtime, where at some moments it almost felt like this album was intended to release and be heard after his passing. Now, the only track I wasn't crazy about was Transformations. For me it was a little weird, and he said this questionable line a couple times. Also, the closing track Tomorrow We'll Never Know was a little hard to listen to, but in a good way, if that makes sense. It just had this very haunting feel about it. Now onto what took so long for this album to be released. As mentioned before, this album was made around 2013-2014, and it seemed other albums at that time were being prioritised for release, and Balloonerism sorta took the backseat. Then with Mac's passing in 2018, his estate released the first posthumous album Circles, and then officially released his mixtapes Faces and I Love Life Thank You onto streaming services. Apparently Balloonerism was an album he frequently talked about releasing, so his estate thought it was appropriate to present an official version after leaked versions circulated online for many years. And honestly, the way Mac Miller's estate handles posthumous releases and Mac's legacy is just so commendable. It really seems like they treat everything with care and take their time. But there you have it, these are my quick thoughts on this new Mac Miller album Balloonerism, and overall I give this album about an 8 out of 10. So did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and until next time, take care.